Hello and welcome. Today we're going to learn about statements, and if you remember, which we have studied from the previous lecture, statements are something which get executed on the compiler. Okay, so statements are basically instructions which compiler have to execute. Let's look at some statements. So the first statement we're going to learn about is an empty statement. So empty statement, as the name suggests, does nothing, and how we um, implement an empty statement is just by the keyword pass. Okay, let me show you. So this is an empty statement. Okay, let's see what it does. Nothing. See, it prints nothing, it does nothing because it's an empty statement. Let's see what if we see, it does nothing. Okay, let's run our module now. It does nothing, so empty statement doesn't make a difference here. Okay, next are single line statements, and we have already read some single line statements. For example, print. Okay, this is a single line statement. Why? Because this is only a single line. Okay, let's run it. See, this is a single line statement because it only gives one instruction, or it's only single line. Okay, then comes compound statements. Just remember, compound statements begins with a keyword and they have a colon in it. I'll teach you this by an example, but for the time being, just remember this. Okay, next we're going to learn about conditional statements. Okay, so let's see the first conditional statement, which is if. So if begins with an if keyword. Okay, then you have to pass a logical expression, then the colon, and then the body of the if clause. So as you can see, this is a syntax, and as you can see, it has a keyword and it has a colon, so it is a compound statement. Let's learn it by an example. Okay, always remember, we have to pass a logical expression here. Okay, logical expression is something that returns true or false. Logical or relational expression, but basically something that returns true or false. Okay, so for example, let's make a program that tells us if input is negative or not negative. Okay, so I declare a variable and I'm going to use this function. So this is a function you use when you want to take input from the console. So if you want to take input from here, you're going to use this input function. Okay, right. So what are we going to do? We're going to check if num is less than 0. Okay, so we're checking if the number is positive or negative. So I will print the positive. Fine. So it is going to give me an error when I run this, and let's see. 3 human error. Why? Because less than is not supported between string and int. Let's see what that means. That means 0 is an integer. Okay, and num variable here is of type string. Okay, how to confirm that? Let's see what is the type of the num variable. Okay, okay, I didn't print it, so I need to print it. Still gonna throw me an error, but as you can see, the data type of this variable num is a string. Okay, so we cannot compare number and an integer, so I need to do something called explicit conversion. Okay, So we need to convert this variable manually. And how are we going to do it? It's simply by typing int and then doing this. Okay, let's run this program one more time. See, it printed int. Okay, so I use less than, that's why I didn't print anything. I'm supposed to use more than. So it says the number is positive. Okay, now let's say I also want to check if the number is negative. Sure, I can put another if and I can go num less than 0 and can print the number is negative. But if you notice something, a number is only going to be negative if it is not positive. So we can use something better. We can use else. Okay. So what happens is else only runs when this expression evaluates to false. Okay. So the body of the if statement, so this block only runs when this expression is true. But when we have an else, this body of the else runs when this expression of the if is false. Let's see. So let's pass a negative number this time. And it says the number is negative. It looks like our program is working fine, right? Actually, look what happens when I give it an input which is neither positive nor negative. For example, 0. Okay, let's see how our program behaves when I pass a 0. It says the number is negative, but 0 is not negative. So what's happening here? So what happens here is the number compares if the number is greater than 0. So 0 is obviously not greater than 0, it is equal to 0. So it goes in the else block because this evaluates to false. Okay, and it prints the number is negative. Huh. So what do we do here? What we can do is we can combine else and if. So now what happens is I can check if the number is greater than 0 and print this. If this statement is false, if this expression is false, it goes into this else if block. But in Python, we have elif. It is called elif, not else if. Okay. So we go here into this elif block and it compares if number is less than 0. And if it is less than 0, we should print the number is negative. But can if the number is nor less than 0 nor greater than 0, that means the number is equal to 0 and we can simply print the number is equal to 0. Now let's see what happens when I run the program. So let's type 0. It says the number is equal to 0. Let's see with our other two inputs, that is one positive and one negative. I'm going to take the same input. Okay, so 10 and it says the number is positive. I'm going to enter a negative number now and it says the number is negative. So program is working just fine. Okay, so this one thing I need to, you can also club two expressions together. For example, um, I want to check if the number is greater than 0 and if it is less than 100. So what I can do is, um, I'm going to use something called logical and. So basically we need to pass in expressions here that evaluates to either true or false. Okay, so I can go none greater than 0. So it checks number which are greater than 0 and which are, I'm supposed to write, less than 100. So that means the number is positive and the number is less than 100. Okay, okay, let's run our module. Oh, I'm sorry, in Python we use an and, but yeah, this is the and we use in Python. Okay, I'm gonna enter 10 again. It says the number is positive and the number is less than 100. Okay, let's see another case. I'm gonna give a number which is greater than 100 and see what happens. Say 1000. Okay, it prints the number is equal to 0. Huh. So what's happening here? So what's happening is this expression evaluates false. So the program goes to this expression and this also evaluates false. So the expression goes here. Okay. Now to correct this, I can also use another elif and say num equal 0, but that still doesn't feel right. Okay, but this is how you can fix it. So as you can see, this seems like a bad idea. Clubbing them together seems like a bad idea. So what I can do is I can just go and write an if inside an if. So I can go number less than 100. Okay, and if the number is less than 100, this needs to be under this block. Okay, if the number is less than 100, I need to print the number is less than 100. Okay, everything should work fine now. Let's see. It said the number is positive. It didn't say the number is less than 100. Let's see if I enter a number less than 100. Let's see what happens if I enter 10. Okay, it says the number is less than 100. I hope this is making sense. Okay, so this is it for today's video. We're gonna continue from here in the next video. Thanks for watching and do let me know how you feel about the video and drop your feedback in the comments or in all the social media handles I'm leaving.